All right, all right, all right.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. I know this is not one of our
Our normal nights.
normal nights. Sweet tea rolls with the things that people ask us about. Want to get our feedback on,
Mm-hmm.
um, and current events.
Yes,
So
yes,
that's what it's
yes.
about. So anyway, it's your country boy,
And your city girl.
Eric. I almost forgot my
Uh,
name because it's been one of those
and
days.
Elaine.
Yes, yes, of E squared. So
Yes.
um, this is a weighty matter uh, that we're talking about tonight. Uh,
Mm.
uh, we want to allow some folks to get in when you're in the chat and let us know when you're in.
Yes.
Um, if you want to know about what Samuels taught me,
Let's dive right in then, right?
yeah, just talking about just to give folks an overview on you
Yes.
know, what the topic is.
What we're talking about.
Everybody don't read the description.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're so right. You're so right.
Could you read that description for me,
I
Laura,
certainly
with your
can. So, of
soulful,
course,
sultry voice?
yes. So tonight's sweet tea. We're
Mm.
talking about
You got your glasses over there, man.
what Kevin Samuels taught me. I'm good. I'm good
All
for
right,
now.
all right.
But so, of course, the YouTube star and the so-called dating guru, excuse me, Kevin Samuels. As we know by now, it's been a week,
Yeah,
right?
it started out as rumors, and I was gonna jump on it until some things flushed out.
Yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, it was the
So,
night that we actually went live. There we go.
well,
That's live, right? But when we went live last week, and so we got the news, but it was rumored at that point. But of course, everyone knows now. Kevin Samuels died at the age of, I think it was 56 or 57,
mm-hmm.
having chest pains. And so, there was a nurse, 32 years old, who spent the night with him, and she called 911. And we know that everybody's talking about it and how he died.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and shamefully, some are being outright disrespectful during this time of mourning and grief for his family. And so, should we be celebrating someone's death? That's the start of tonight's question,
Yeah,
right? Should we celebrate um, the death of a life, no matter how it was lived? In the sense of we're all human, we're all here, and we're all the Father's children, right? And
hands
we're
down.
all here striving. But should we celebrate someone's death?
Right.
So Kevin coined a phrase like high value men um, and average at best, right? While coaching Negro women live on his YouTube channel. And there are many things that Kevin and Eric and Elaine, we
That
disagree
we
on,
do disagree on.
right? Um, but we do know that he's gone now. And so we,
And there are some things that we agree on.
there are some things that we agree
Yeah,
on.
because he
Absolutely.
gave some of it was tough, and some of it was not so tough. That was some common sense things, and
Mhm.
asking certain questions.
Yeah.
In our profession, we ask certain questions
Mhm.
in order for a person to come into an epiphany.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. To really see what your motive is, what your intentions are,
Hmm.
and yeah, to
Define
really
where you're
define
going, what you
what you
want.
want.
You know.
Absolutely. So,
Hmm.
what's left right now, we know in shambles are our Negro relationships,
Hmm.
and that's bottom line. The values that are in desperate need of repair, regeneration, and revival. Do we have anybody on that's game with us tonight? Do y'all of course want to chime in and give your input tonight? But we want to just kind of just take a little time and just kind of shed some sweet tea, as we do when current events happen and things are shared. with us, or there are certain hot topics regarding what? Relationships. And so, what E Square does is we're creating a positive, healthy relationship culture within our community, within our world. So, this is our commitment. And so, we want you to join us. So, this is our moment where we're going to pull out the sweet tea, not just to come bring you some tea, right? The gossip,
Yeah.
but
We
we're
don't.
going to look at what can we learn. um, Always, what are the things that we can take away from the tea?
Yes. Now, I'll say that my passion um, that I had regarding this uh, started a while back ago.
Hmm.
It was back in January. Well, even before January, I began to hear things that were being said about Negro women, and uh, and it wasn't just him; it was other YouTubers.
Hmm.
There were other people who were just really condemning Negro women, or downplaying, to see on TikTok where um, the young men would put on the screen white girls, black girls, and they run to the white girl side, and everything. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It took me back to this the black doll, white doll thing.
Oh wow, that's so true.
And it
Yeah,
was like, wow. So do you
not
realize
much has changed.
that nobody who looks like you
Hmm.
will be around with that thought
Hmm.
process?
Hmm. That's it. Absolutely.
It's like automated genocide.
Yeah. Self hatred.
Yeah. And again, I always put this out there. Real quick before we get started. Is the sound all right? Hit the
Okay.
let's see here. Yeah, go on and put a one in the chat if the sound is all good.
Yes. Let us know if you can hear. Mic check. Mic
Yes.
check.
Donald Rose, what's going on, brother?
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Rose.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you for
Yes,
joining
sir.
tonight's conversation.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Nitra's first Mother's Day. Yes, her
Oh,
first Mother's Day. Isn't that beautiful?
happy Mother's Day,
Yes,
Nitra.
yes.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tell her. I hope she right there. Tell her we say hello
Yes.
and happy Mother's Day.
Yes. And yeah, and we didn't forget. We just, it's every day. It's every
Yes.
day.
So anyway, so all is well. We're all good on the sound. So all right. So yes. Um. Hey, Latasha, how are you?
Is that Mrs. Jones? Mrs. Jones?
Yeah. 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 Miss Jones.
Mrs. Jones?
No, no, not that Mrs.
Mrs.
Jones.
Okay, not that
No, 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 no. That's what we talking about tonight.
one. What are the words?
You
You know
know,
what the sad part is?
relationships
I
and
grew
all
up
of these
around
things.
the cafe hearing that song played, and I never really,
Yeah, I
I
hated
never
that
really
song when I was a
listened
little
to it. I
kid.
never, isn't that awful?
Yeah, I didn't like that song. And if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. I didn't know why I didn't like that song until I was a grown man with my
Mm,
father,
mm,
finding out, what happened there.
yeah, yeah.
But yes, yes, yes.
Yes, come
So
on in.
so again, the topic at hand. So back last year, there was a lot of visceral things being said, and I hit a tipping point. And on my Facebook page, I shared a video. Let's see here. I can pull it up for y'all. I shared actually not. I shared a post, and the post, it had, yes, that's it. Share sound, audio. So if you see the post there, see, I'll make it a little bit bigger for you guys.
All right,
Look
let's
a little
see.
bit better. Yeah, so it says the most dangerous place for Negro relationships is the internet, and that's what was happening. It was crazy. Some of the videos that were being put out. Besides, I won't play that whole video. If you want to see that video, you can go to my Facebook page. It is January the 25th. When I put that in, matter of fact, I might be able to share that link. Um,
Yeah, because you got to take a look, because what the video that Eric is talking about, he did in January. It actually it sparked something in me, and I was totally, uh, just in support of what he was saying, because again, we are seeing so much attacks, on one another regarding man and woman, right, in our so-called Black or Negro relationships, and it's getting to the point where it is so disheartening. And for me, when I heard Eric, saw his video, because of course he did it when he was, in the car and without me, of course. That wasn't
the
a tripping
information
with
came to
Eric and
me
Elaine.
then, and I had to
I'm
get
just
into it
saying.
then.
I'm just saying you did it without me. But no, he was in the moment, but it was, just the the thought process of what is happening, and uh, where we are seeing this thing take us, from what we're going to be discussing tonight with the Kevin Samuel situation as well. What can we learn, and what have you learned, right, over the last 7 days
Yes.
regarding this topic, how we're treating, and just the state of our relationships as a culture of people.
So I put the link in the chat. You can go back to it after this video, after this live, to check it out. Uh, Also, just so folks know that this is the very reason that Elaine and I do what we do. We produced a little video, and I ain't no big time, um, you know, video producer,
Yes,
but
you are.
no, we made a quick little video
Wonderful
that
video.
talks
You did a
about,
great job.
and we're gonna let that play too. I'm gonna play this. This is the reason why posterity is our prosperity. Everybody talking about getting the bag. And then we talk about 50-50 this. All of this stuff is coming. We were supposed to do the 50-50 thing first, but all of these things came up.
Yeah.
And more and more and more. And these things are coming more and more. We have to pause
Yeah. Yeah.
and take a look at what's going on.
Mhm.
Now, understand this.
And not just a surface look.
No, not just the
Yeah.
surface look. You got to look. The politicians done all they can do. The politicians done all they can do. We have a ton of representation in government,
Talk about that. Yeah.
way more than what we have had in the 60s when our forefathers were fighting and dying to get the right to vote. I wonder if our people, if they were alive today, if they would vote. Because to me, I believe they were voting for change,
Right.
not voting for the same old thing.
Talk about it. Yes.
And I don't think we make the connections that our relationships, our intimate relationship, our familial relationships are paramount
Yeah.
to our survival.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally telling you, our survival. The Guardian, in the description, I put an article that every household needs to have a look at and pay attention to. what was interesting to me, that this was an Asian brother that was on the Breakfast Club telling Black people what has been written about them, and they had no clue. The man sat there and said, did you know there was a study that went out saying that by 2053, can somebody put in the chat 2053, how many years is it to 2053? Put that in the chat for me. But he said by 2053, there will be no median Black household income. There will be no Black median household income. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
And if that doesn't startle you, then we need to check your pulse. Because that's real close, y'all.
Listen, I want grandbabies. By 2053, I will be 71. On my way. Yeah, that's 71, right? 71.
I'm just watching what you about to say next.
I'm just saying we gonna have grandbabies. That means our daughters are gonna be in their 50s. Which they could possibly have grandbabies. We could possibly see great grandbabies at this time. This article, it's not a new article. This is old.
But it's something
you can't see it.
To.
What's that you can't see? And Jarvis, what's up, cuz?
Hello, and Jarvis. Yeah. And Jarvis say facts. Absolutely.
Yes. So look, we're gonna play this video
about it tonight
real quick that we did regarding
Join us, Eric and Elaine, in the Black Love Matters campaign to strengthen Negro relationships disproportionately affected by familial social injustice, media misrepresentation, and systemic economic racism. Our mantra is posterity is prosperity. We live by the principle that there is no success in separation. As a nation of people, we need tools and strategies, but more importantly, we need relationships. Listen, conflict and relationship issues do not discriminate. At some point, every relationship faces conflict, regardless of race, nationality, economic background, or religion. But let's face it, y'all, Black couples are at a considerable disadvantage due to a myriad of stressors that must not remain unaddressed. Statistics indicate a growing concern for the Black family, especially our Black youth. That's right, when conflict arises in many Black homes, intimate partner violence can become deadly, even for our little Black children. Rally behind this Black Love Matters campaign to address the need for services to the growing number of families disproportionately affected by familial social injustice, media misrepresentation, and systemic economic racism. Buy Black today, y'all. Visit ericandelaine.com/shop to join the campaign. E-Square is donating a portion of your purchase to Optimum Lifestyle CDC and its family relationship building efforts. Follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram, and you can follow us on YouTube. Remember, we cannot change what we will not acknowledge, and we are more powerful together than apart.
All right. So yes. So this is not something new for ELAINE and I. This is not something new.
Good to see you, Nadia and Victor Jenkins.
Hey, Victor. This is not something new.
Yeah, it's been
going
on and on and on. And so to bring, awareness to it, but in a different light, because if we are seeing the different things that are happening, the different discussions, even like we're saying from this past week alone, um, we've got to recognize that we have a part to play. We cannot continue um, to allow for these different relationship issues, right? Relationship, how are we dealing with one another? To continue to be the narrative that we see and allow to be spoken about us. We
Hands
have
down.
to change it.
Now, how did we get here? We got here in a lot of ways. There's a lot we're going to unpack. We're going to share. We won't unpack it tonight, all of it tonight, because we want to. This is a real. Um, this is pertinent, like I said, for your survival,
Mhm.
for you, as everybody deserves to be on this planet. Who gets to decide whether or not I exist on the planet? If you think about it, go back to the movie 2012. It's been in the media. Every time you see an apocalyptic movie, how many Negroes do you see?
Mm. Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but that's what I mean. In my experience,
Yeah.
if I don't see myself in the apocalypse,
Mm.
and in 2012, the ship who all been saved, which you barely see anybody melanated or of any other nationality, not many other nationalities, but they're selling directly to the continent of Africa.
Mm.
Really?
And that they're telling the story through the media. They're telling the
Hands
story
down.
to us with through the movies, right? So we have to pay attention and become more aware, right, of what is actually being said.
And pay attention. I mean, because what's interesting, it's like we're in opposite land. We're in opposite world
Mm.
or whatnot. Because what's interesting to me is like when I look at the accomplishments of Tyler Perry, I want to say it's accomplishment. You know, they say, "Ooh, wow, he built it on a old Confederate base and everything." When the fact that he had to build a studio on the opposite coast of Hollywood reeks of segregation. Why couldn't he be in the regular Hollywood?
Right.
If we don't think about these and we celebrate this stuff and not knowing you celebrate your own demise.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, let's dive into it. I mean, even with the Kevin Samuels, right? So we hear these high value men, high value women, right?
Yep.
And we begin to have these topics, and you know, to hear it over and over throughout the last 2-3 years,
Mm-hmm.
especially, and I'm like, what are all these new labels? you
Yeah.
know so but we began to have these conversations and defining and redefining
Right.
ourselves as an individual. And it's like, but at the same time, you know the behaviors are still the same,
Yes.
right? We're still not changing our behaviors toward one another.
One another. I haven't seen this kind of a debacle in any other nationality.
Any other? That's it. No other culture.
I don't see that happening in our Latino brothers. I don't see that happening in our Caucasian brothers. I don't see that happening in our Asian brothers. When I say Asian, I'm not just talking about China, you know, um, Korea and Vietnam and Japan and all of this. I'm talking about India too, the Kyrgyzstans and all of that. All of these folks, India and whatnot, all of these areas, I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
This thing about black girl magic and stuff and all of these things. Don't nobody say that about anybody else. Those things, those swords swing both ways. It's, for instance, I used to say, especially with the publicity of the uh, of people getting shot by the police, unarmed people getting shot by the police, how that stayed on the news, and
Yeah.
you showed that, and some people like, yeah, see, that's good, they're exposing them,
Mm.
but you got to see the impact of that other person. I think that was Dr. Joy DeGruy who shared that. You got to think,
Yeah.
what is that other person seeing?
Mm-hmm.
Is this even the showing George Floyd, the man with his knee on his neck for 9 minutes? What is that showing the other people? What message does our counterparts feel? Does it
Yeah.
reinforce inferiority,
Mm-hmm.
Negro inferiority? Is that what it does?
Right. Oh yeah. Absolutely, it does. I mean, because when we see it over and over and we see it played out, it's sending a message. I mean, to all eyes,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's sending a message, and it makes, again, the weakness come, to the
Mm-hmm.
forefront, or makes it look weak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Helpless, like we must come and save,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, but we're a powerful people,
Mm-hmm.
right? But again, that's not ever the story that's being told, and that's not the story that we even tell ourselves about ourselves. So, supporting one another in our relationships, right?
Hands down.
Becoming fed up with, the narratives that, if you are not, a six figure,
Yeah, the 666.
666,
The
six
6 foot.
figure, what you say?
Yeah, 6 foot, 6 pack, and 6 figures.
Yeah,
And that's on the women's side. But for me, and I mentioned that too. I did a live on Facebook about the woman, the Negro woman is experiencing a major pandemic. She's 3 pandemics.
Yeah.
She dealt with the pandemic, the main pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
She dealt with the pandemic of her sons being killed in the streets, loved ones and husbands, and so on and so forth. And she suffered a pandemic of being ostracized by her own man.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
truth be told, so let us look too, and these are some of the things that we want to do, because we're not pointing fingers. We're not gonna, because that's what's been going on, is pointing fingers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We gotta share and have accountability one to another, and then we gotta have a commitment to each other for restoration.
Yes.
As a people.
Yeah.
As a people.
Because we're making, continuing to make each other our own enemy.
Right.
And that's that, if we look at throughout, our history, we did have a way that we worked together. We did have at one time, that was what was normal for us, right?
That's right.
Where we worked together, where we looked out for one another. We we wouldn't allow for someone else to come in.
Yes.
Right. And talk bad about, somebody that was from our hood,
right.
Or from our family, especially, right?
Right.
And so now, you take the intimate relationships, and we look at how you look at, and we're watching it, really go to the demise, right? And so this is our time to say, what, enough, right? And so what are we learning from all of this? We can't, because for me, I'm so the last week has been a whole lot of opinions been given. A whole lot of opinions, and that's fine, because we're to talk and discuss these things, right? But at the same time, while all the opinions are being given, we're still pointing fingers, and we're doing this, and we're still watching this whole thing crumble before us, because we are not seeing from the depths of more the spiritual side. Has anybody stopped to look at the spiritual side of what's happening?
Ooh. There it is.
Because it's deeper than just, the loss of the, the life. And that is tragic. And we pray for his family.
Hands down.
Absolutely. We pray for the family.
Shut up.
You know, and how the mother found out, and
Yeah, it was sad that the
yeah,
mom found out via social media.
absolutely. That's
One.
yeah,
Um,
and to hear it in such, you know, such a way that you know we're talking about, and there's, you know, some who, you know, said, well, just because we're discussing it doesn't mean that we're disrespecting the dead,
yeah,
you know, but we're looking at the
because
different
there are some out there
conversations,
that's just, I mean, going
yeah, that
in,
were going in and
you know,
celebrating.
celebrating. You don't want to do. What was the old saying? If you dig a ditch for one person, go on and dig two.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. So it's been a disturbance, but we've got to take a deeper look. Where is this saying? What is this saying to us, and where is this leaving us to really have to look at ourselves,
Hands down.
and to see that, you know what, we at some point we have lost our connection to the Father,
Hands down.
and we have, as a nation of people, right, we've got to realize that we have a responsibility, right, to see the Father in who we're dealing with.
Hands down.
You know, forget the labels, right? High value this and average at
Yeah.
best, and all of, you know, these different terms. No, I'm looking at the image of the Creator Himself.
I mean, think about it. Look, before I go there, there's some good stuff in this chat. All right.
Oh,
Shout
we
out,
missing all the chat.
shout out to Von Ronstead. Mr. Wright, what's up?
Yes. Oh, wow, Von Ronstead.
He says the crab mentality. We hate to see others succeed.
Wow.
That's biblical.
Come on.
It is, my brother.
Come on.
That is so true.
That's
Nadia
so true.
Denise Holmes, she say it's because
Nadia.
of how many systems it took to cause us to separate from one another.
Okay.
Say that.
Okay.
It was a definite effort. It was a you know,
an all-out agenda.
An agenda. Look, we are the fourth largest economy, and that's what I wonder too. Are you speaking something on me when you say that I won't have a median income? Now, when you go to look at what he was saying and what the article was saying, the article is saying that there's not enough Negroes in different sectors to where the where business is going. There's not enough Negroes in technology. Okay, so in all these different areas where they're going to be viable,
Yeah.
in 30 years,
Yeah.
right? So the that statement is not a statement of inferiority, because if you look at the history, it is known that a child's emotional, education, and economic wellness, I call it the 3 E's, right? All of that is determined by the household structure. There's a matter of fact, I need to watch this with y'all. It's called Absent, and it's talking about the impact of fatherless homes, right? And what Nadia just brought up was about the systems that were put in place, the Great Society. Anytime there's a pro something, the war against whatever, it's never good for our community. Now, my passion for my people does not diminish my love for all mankind. Can we please get that together? Can we please? I always have to say that, because it's interesting. Everybody can do their own thing, the Cinco de Mayo and the this and the that. Everybody can do that. But when I talk about me and mine, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Unless it's gossip
it's gossip
and bad news.
For instance, if I said anything about any other people group, it would be considered hate speech. But this brother was able to say things that he would say about Negro women that was never classified as hate speech. And what's interesting, nobody does anything about it. For instance, I did this challenge, and yeah, brothers, I'm holding your feet to the fire, accountability. I did this challenge about brothers who believed in strong and in healthy relationships. When the brother called my boy Russell.
Russell.
Oh my
I
goodness.
was almost about to say Russell Simmons.
Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson a simp, and called him a chump,
Right.
and called him all of these things, and that he wouldn't have Sierra if he didn't have that money, and all of these things, these shallow things, right? And I stood up and I did a video and said, I stand with Russell Wilson. I am Russell Wilson. Where my brothers at? I ain't got one video. I told them, put a video. Where your video at? What are you gonna stand for?
Yeah.
What you mentioned earlier about Martin Luther King, what made me think about Martin Luther King when I'll come back to that. But because you were saying, about, at one time we had thriving communities, so on and so forth. Martin Luther King, before he was assassinated, he said that he feels that he integrated his people into a burning house because our wealth was scattered. Our wealth don't stay within our community more than a couple of hours. When before it rotated in our community, and that's a part of thriving. And I think we got the cart before the horse. We're not learning how to choose a spouse, knowing what makes us angry, knowing how to apologize, knowing how to communicate. Right?
Yeah.
And it's not pointing the finger. The thing is, if you didn't see mama and daddy apologize,
Right.
If mama and daddy wasn't together, or let's say you come from a rainbow family, we have them, y'all, where it's, folks have more than one daddy.
Yeah. We
right?
have plenty of that.
And why not have more than one daddy?
But
The children
saying,
have more. There's more. Yeah, you got several
one.
Children in the house with different daddies. Right. I had to stop and calculate. Wait a minute.
I have more than
that
one
math
daddy.
ain't mathing. Right. Let me go back to the chat.
I understood what you were saying.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I said I was gonna go back to the chat and I started talking. Anyway, Donna Rose. All right. He says for black man and black woman, it should never be an us versus them.
Yes.
Big part of the downfall.
Talk about
hands
it, Mr. Rose.
down.
Yes.
I call it a civil war that's happening in our community. Women saying they're divesting from dating black men saying they're divesting from dating black women. I don't see that anywhere else. It's automated genocide.
Absolutely it is. And we're murdering, the character of our black women. We're murdering the character of our black men. And do we have issues? We're not saying that we don't.
And we need to deal with our own issues.
Absolutely.
Within ourselves.
And amongst ourselves.
Right.
Absolutely. And so we know that there's a problem. We know that what we have seen and what Nadia talked about, there is a background, right? There's an agenda, there is a system that has been at play. And yet at the same time, we have to always look at what's not being told to us, right? What education is not being given to us,
right,
to our children, right? And y'all know I've educated my children and what have you. And there was a time when I started seeing some of the curriculum and started noticing what information they were being given. And in the information they were being given did not have anything that dealt with us, that looked like us, that looked like them. So we had to make sure that we gave them the information and the education that involved them seeing themselves beyond 1619.
Hands down.
Right. And so, but even looking at how we had to really focus on the main thing is, what are they not telling us? So we worked together, we lived together, we had thriving businesses, Tulsa,
Mm-hmm.
we got, and many others.
Houston, Jensen Drive. Anybody that know about Jensen Drive?
Yes.
And there's other, Almeda was a spot.
Right.
Dowling.
Riverside.
Yeah, Riverside. You had, but okay. So yes, it started back to the chat. It started with a welfare system that the man had to leave the home to get support.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is so right.
Yeah. And we know, for those of us who believe in the scriptures, that's out of order. It's out of order.
Mm.
Good evening, Auntie. Auntie is in the chat. She talking about it.
All right.
Then our community is being taken and destroying our resources within. That's true. Yeah. And right now, and like I say, we are on we are our own AI in our dismissal, because I live in the hood, y'all. Yes, I live in the hood. Mm-hmm. We call the house Castle de la Vecindad, castle in the hood, right? I see these brothers driving these cars, the way they drive. You running stop signs, you running lights, you driving like you on Mario Kart. Come on now. We can't give folks the bullet to shoot us with. They already charging us higher in insurance in our areas, even without us having an issue. You cannot have accidents and not, and have a wonderful driving record and still pay higher than if your zip code had a different zip code.
That's true.
But then we add, because Pook and them not acting right. Ray not acting right. Sharon Brown, let's see here. Miss Sharon Brown, how are you? She says, I just want to know what made him a dating guru. That's interesting. I know the scripture said that people are going to go to and fro with itching ears, When it's talking about every wind of doctrine, it's not, besides Christianity, which is a wind of doctrine, you got some other, things like what he taught. And the things that he was sharing, I feel is doctrine, because people are so-called educating themselves with what he's sharing, right? So what he was sharing or whatnot. So people, you got to consider your information. Stop following parked cars.
That's it. And for me, because I am a woman, and the first time that I heard of Kevin Samuels was, I think, about 3 years ago when he first kind of blew up, right, from a conversation that he had with one woman about she didn't look like
the part.
She didn't look like the part that could attract a high value or high quality man. And so when that hit the airwaves, right, but there's something in me that, as a woman, I'm like, what makes you want to listen to him? What makes you want to listen to another man that's sitting in a room telling you, first of all, we have to check ourselves and be able to recognize our own power as women, right? To recognize our own value, right? And to be secure in our own value, so that we don't need somebody. First of all, some people say that, he had a sharp way, that he dealt with, directly, would deal with you on, direct and sharply, right, with his delivery. And anytime you take a man or a woman that's gotta yell at you, or gotta degrade you, or gotta feel as though they have to pick you apart, that's a problem. And so what we have to do is to be able to recognize our power, and to also walk in our way of discernment. We've lost our ability to discern what is the definition of a real, true quality person, quality individual. It has nothing to do with the degrees and the cars
The
and the
money,
monies
materialism.
and the material things.
Von Ron
But
said was saying that in the chat about
do you
materialism.
have emotional intelligence?
Hands down.
You know, are you able to be able to walk in a room and be able to discern whether you need to speak or shut up?
Yeah. Or you're gonna be rich alone.
Yes.
Yes. So look, something that Victor just said, every race gets to have their own identity, but we have to always fight for ours. But what's interesting though,
So true.
Victor, is we don't know ours.
Come on.
Some of the things that we say is black culture is not black culture.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things that we say is our culture. And for those who get a little offended by me using the word Negro, I use the word Negro because it attaches me to a land. Okay. There's a map. I need to put that. I'll put that in the chat. Or if one of my moderators can go and pull up that Negro land chat. Let me do this real quick with y'all. And there's a link in the description of this guy who shares this particular exercise. I'm going to do an exercise with y'all. Everybody get your fingers ready for in the chat. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say a group of people and you say where they're from. Okay. So if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
Right? All right. So I'm going to do that. Everybody ready? Put a 100 in the chat.
A 100.
A 100 in the chat. Right. There you go, Auntie. All right. So I'm going to say, so I said Chinese. She said China.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Japanese. Where they from? Japanese. I think my thing is moving a little slow. All right. Japan. All right. Italian.
Y'all typing?
So Italian. All right. She say Italy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Nigerian. Where that's at? So from Nigerian. All right. Nigeria. All right. I say, oh, somebody say Africa. Mexican. Okay, that's a area. Mexico. All right. Mexico. All right. Black. I don't see nothing in the chat. Sorry is right. Yeah, what? Yeah. And now it ain't even black, it's BIPOC.
Now they said America, and somebody said everywhere.
But that's not a land. I asked y'all for a land. I asked you for a land.
Black is not.
Absolutely. Well, then who are we?
Yeah.
Who are we? Who in the world are we? Who did they pick up over in West Africa? This is the foundation and the crux of why we have what we have. Yeah. That was an obeyed curse that was spoken over the people who went through that gate of no return. Went around that gate, say these people will not remember their roots and who they are. They will be financially stifled, and they will be sexually promiscuous. What in the world? That sounds opposite of Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14.
Mm.
I'm the head and not the tail.
Wow. So you're saying this is more spiritual.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's spiritual, and understanding why we, and truth be told, and I won't go down that thing, about that, there were Negroes here already, because we'd have to go to some, go into some other information, but I'm gonna stay right here. Oh, Sharon said yes, that's absolutely correct, Sharon. That's absolutely correct. Uh, yes, scattered people. That is absolutely correct. Because it's interesting to me that Norman Lear, who everybody loves, Norman Lear decided to, in the first episode of Good Times, address who we are. If you haven't seen that, mosey on over to your Prime after this live and go and look at the very first episode of Good Times. And it's interesting, again, that I did a presentation years ago about what we saw growing up. For those of us who are 70s babies, you remember Eight Is Enough. You remember Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
You remember Good Times. You remember What's Happening, right? What else was it? You remember Different Strokes. You remember the Jeffersons. You remember that. Now, when you line all of those things up, when you line all of those, that movie line, that television lineup, you see some stark contrast. If you just pay attention and just look at it. So through entertainment, we have been, I was telling the brother the other day, he was saying, man, back in the day, man, like right now, we just glad to see us on the TV screen. Because back in the day, you might see us, but we were the first one to die in the thing. And I told him, I said, yeah, and his name was Johnson too.
Right.
Johnson's down. Yeah. Johnson's down.
Get Johnson. Sad truth. Sad but true.
Yes. So yeah, y'all, look, we're drawing close to the time, and but we just wanted to come on here and invite, because this is more so of an invitation to talk further.
Yes.
This is not about a YouTube algorithm, because we got folk jumping on the YouTube algorithm. Look, we got a people. If we want ourselves to be redeemed, we tired of dealing with the things of the past. Tired of going through stuff and not knowing why we're going through it. And like I said before, I'm not calling on no big names. That's one of our problems. I'm not calling on big names. Our celebrities, they done what they can do. They done what they can do. Not concerned about the politicians. They done what they can do. And we still dealing with something. So that tells me that this got to be a grassroots movement. This got to be a grassroots movement. And men, you got to stand up. I had to apologize in that video from Facebook. I apologize because I wasn't verbal when our women were being disrespected on, when those folks was, how am I protecting even my community? Yeah, I can serve on a civic association until I realize, what that was all about or whatever. But I can serve on that and I can do all of those things, but it's going to be grassroots. Who ready to, when they did the bus boycott, they suffered some inconveniences.
Oh, yeah.
But they saw it was worth something.
That's it. They had an end goal.
An end goal. They understood my posterity. They did everything they wanted to do, but for their families. Yeah. They did these things. What is our why? Right now, we taking pictures.
Selfies.
We taking pictures and spending money with other folk.
Yeah.
We taking pictures and we got all the new stuff. We want people to see what we doing. But I got a saying. We all look good when we all look good.
Yeah.
And that's something from our community. I am because we are. Understand?
That's it.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna invite you guys to our um, virtual town hall. ELAINE came up with this virtual town. After she saw my video,
Yeah.
it inspired her. It's like, we got to say something. We got to do something.
Yeah.
We got to put a plan together.
It's an emergency, y'all. We're at a state of emergency. Do you agree? If y'all agree that we are in a state of emergency for what we need to see happen that is different for our nation of people, our culture, right? And of course, we're talking about, yes, that will affect the world, right? We're not exclusive, but what we are doing is we're seeing the problem and we're seeing the change that has to happen, which is beginning with us. So if you say that you agree that, hey, something's got to change, right? So we want to invite you. It's an emergency town hall meeting of sorts, but we're going to have total, just kind of let our hair down with really dealing with some of these issues that further than what we can go on here. But we want you to join us with the dialogue. Come and let us know what you see, and also what are you willing to do, right? What are we willing to do as a corporate or as a group of people, right?
A nation of people.
What are we?
Because we got an economy that's the fourth economy in the world.
Absolutely,
and it doesn't,
What is it? Where's it going? What do we have to show for it? That's not individual lies, right? So yeah, we're seeing all of this, and we all can kind of state what the problem is, but we're going to not just state what the problem is. What do you see as far as if you're single and you say, hey, there are issues regarding, what you're dealing with regarding men, regarding the women, right? What do you see that's happening? What is our downfall? And then also, what are we going to look at the answers? Like, we're going to look and give these answers. There is an answer. We have an answer. And we're going to have other groups of people that are going to be with us as well, right?
Panels.
And we'll have panel of guests, and we're going to really look deeper and have this conversation.
So don't look for famous people. Now, let me just tell you, we looking for folks that's on the ground.
Yeah.
On the ground. Because, again, they've done all they can do. If they want to come and be a part, hey, cool beans. But we brothers here.
Yeah.
We brothers. No little eyes, big U's and see, I done got it all mixed up.
Big eyes, little U's.
Yes. None of that. We ain't got time for that. We can't. We don't have in the scripture when Nehemiah was building the walls of the city, right? He was burdened in his heart to build the walls of the city. There were people who was there building the walls, and they had brothers that owed them money. And they was finna take their children and all this other kind of stuff. He like, man, we building. You need to forgive your brother of that debt. You need to, in desperate times, call for desperate measures. So we're going to be doing a SWOT analysis and developing a business plan, a path forward for Negro relationships.
Yes.
It's for people. This meeting is only for people of the African diaspora. Understand? We got to help ourselves first. We gotta, again, I don't want my grandchildren poor in 2053. If you don't know your history, you repeat it. If they're saying that you're not going to have the jobs to be situated in 2053, you won't have a median household income, that means you're a slave again.
Wow. And did anybody answer how many years is that in the chat?
Did anybody put in there about how many years?
Because this is, yeah, it's real, y'all. And so we're talking about, the number of, what is that, 30, 31 years,
Yeah.
right?
And that's a blink of an eye.
That's a blink of an eye.
Boom.
Some of us are
I
just
said
celebrating
71,
our
I'll be 81 years old.
right. Some of us are celebrating our 20-year, high school reunion.
Right.
Some of us. So think about in 30 years.
Not us. That was 30 years.
Hey.
1990.
Hey.
So okay. It's gone that fast.
Yeah.
It's gone that fast.
But we invite you.
Yes.
Thank you for joining in tonight.
Stay tuned. We're gonna put up the registration. We'll communicate with you with the registration. If you can go to the website, put your information in on the contact us and let us know you're interested, and we will send you direct the direct registration for the event. All right. Now, It's not one event. It's a series. Every quarter, we're dealing with the different things that we gonna need.
Yeah.
If you are a business owner, you want to sponsor, you can sponsor. The sponsorship packet is coming out and will be going out. If you want to be a sponsor, you contact us on the website there at ericandelaine.com. Let us know that you want to be a sponsor, and we'll send you the information. All right, but this is what it's going to take.
Yeah,
some collective economics. It was something I saw just we'll talk about that at another time. But look, it's got to happen.
Yeah,
it has to happen, y'all.
Yeah,
or we won't be on the planet. Mm-hmm. That's literally what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. That's literally what we're talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you all
for
joining.
Your input, and we will see
Auntie say you are a queen and you are beautiful.
Oh,
I agree totally.
Thank you.
My name is Eric Johnson, and I approve that message.
Thank you, beautiful. Thank you,
Nadia.
Auntie.
Thanks for your input.
Thank you,
Von Ronstead. Thank you for your input.
Mr. Rose.
Victor, glad to have you. Yeah, Mr. Rose.
And Jarvis.
Sharon Brown.
All
of you. We are glad that you guys participated and you're added.
Yes.
And if you're listening to the replay, please put your information in the chat, your thoughts in the chat. We love to go back and have a look at the input that those things that you share in the chat. All right.
With that, we'll say peace.
Yeah, peace and multiplied blessings.
See you guys.
Take care.